Alright guys, all you naysayers that say he couldn't get the votes, he couldn't get the nomination. If Donald Trump wins Indiana, folks, he has all the right numbers for the GOP nomination. This is absolutely true. Come out of CNN Politics. Donald Trump says if he defeats Ted Cruz in Indiana, he'll seal the Republican presidential nomination. Trump's the front winner in Indiana, according to NBC Wall Street Journal Mara's poll, leading at 49% compared to Ted's 34%. I'm cruising this information to try to find out how many delegates he's going to pick up in Indiana. But just about figure half, if not more, are going to go to Trump. Just figure that out flat. If those numbers add up, folks, he could become the GOP nominee. That doesn't scare the bejesus out of you, folks. I'm not certain what should. I wonder how everything's going to turn out too. I came in this thinking Hillary's going to win. My heart of hearts, folks, I still see him winning the nomination, losing the presidency, like I've almost always said, and Hillary getting elected president. And that he is, in fact, the trump card for Hillary's success. And that the Clinton Foundation and Bill kind of took him aside and said, if you ran for the GOP, Hillary could go Democrat, and we could all make some fat cash off of this situation. What do you think? And he probably went, give me a few days to think it over. My guys run the numbers and see what needs to be done, and I'll get back with you. Bill's like, okay. Hillary's like, all right, fine. So, nobody really believed he was going to get this far, but I guarantee you he had everybody in the background pulling all the stats and all the words and all the crises events thereof. And I guarantee you most of his wins were analytical. I'm certain some of them were general. Generally meant. Do I think he's a wolf in sheep's clothing? Absolutely. There's more than one poll that's been done saying that he would round up all the people who are causing the problems and put them in internment camps. And there's somebody that came out of his campaign, I forget who it was, that actually said they supposedly saw some kind of file where basically all troublemakers who are caught in protests and all this stuff in massive groups are going to no longer be detained in prisons, but some sort of containment camps. And his ruling, his understanding for this, from what they were able to learn, was very simple. If you're out destroying public property and inciting riots and doing all this stuff, you're costing cities hundreds, if not thousands of dollars you cannot repay. So if they need to pay that kind of money every few months for another protest or another this or another that, and you cannot pay, well, then you no longer need to be around. It actually makes a lot of sense. Basically saying if you can't pay for the damage you've done, do they really need you? And I don't know how this would actually end up. I mean, there's lots of people who get arrested for many of the protest companies and stuff. And can you imagine If one of these big protest companies had a protest, say in Washington, D.C., and 2,800 Americans who were kicking in police cars and doing various bad shit were arrested in 1 week long of events and are now being held in detention centers because they caused like $48 million worth of damage to public property, buildings, and everything else. And now basically they can't leave until that $48 million is being paid. Can you imagine 2,800 Americans being detained because basically they and their group they were in caused so much damage that they can no longer be out in the public? I can go both ways on this, folks. I can say that it's batshit crazy, and I can say I get the idea. I can also see that a lot more of these MoveOn.org type groups would stop having these massive protests when they get 10,000 Americans put in internment camps who can't pay, $100 million worth of damages. And then these guys are going to be contacting the MoveOn.org companies and the crowd companies thereof, saying, hey guys, you paid me to do this, I did this, and now I want to go home. And they say, well, it's not our problem anymore. What do you mean it's not your problem? You hired us to do this so that on TV I looked like a god, or that your company and your agenda looked like gods, and now I can't go home and see my wife and family because, of this new situation. You know how quickly thousands upon thousands of people would be rounded up because of one activity group or another? And that's just one of the stipulations I've heard. Now, I don't know exactly how stringent the rules are and everything, but I'm pretty certain that he does have something like that because they didn't build the FEMA centers and stuff for just the regular dissidents. So, I guarantee you everybody running has their own FEMA camp plan. So, if he wins Indiana, folks, he wins the nomination. I don't know exactly by how many numbers because this CNN Politics poll did not give you the exact numbers that I'm aware of. So, thanks. They're hacking my stuff, folks. I'm trying to get this done. I apologize for the noise. Thank you, guys.